Hello and welcome to Porter Brands. Today I want to speak to the entire world about something that I've been noticed going on here in the States, mostly Texas area. But it doesn't matter if you're in Texas, Colorado, California, wherever, Korea, Japan, wherever, Hawaii, wherever, you do not have to be rude. So when I go shopping, it's I understand everybody's in their own zone and everybody's trying to get what they're trying to get, and some people are in a rush, some people are not. Everybody's just doing their own thing. So, what happened to being courteous? What happened to excuse me or do you mind? I witnessed the older lady. She was really, I'd say about 70 ish. Couldn't reach something on the top shelf. Asked the gentleman who was probably maybe in his 30s if he wouldn't mind, reaching the item for her. He turns around, he looks at her like she had mess on her and walked off. Now, what happened to the days where, you remembered how you have a grandma, a auntie, or someone who needed help and you're like, oh yes ma'am, let me get that for you, and just hand it to them, and they say, oh thank you sweetie, and you go about your business. You did your good deed for the day. It's so many people out here putting out negative vibes and negative energy that I'm almost fed up with it. I'm fed up with it to the point where I don't like to shop in person. Like, I would rather shop online. But speaking of online, there are rude people online too. If we don't like something, we tend to come off as rude instead of telling the person, like, if I see something I don't like and I want to let you know that this is what I didn't like about whatever it was. I'm not gonna down you. I'm going to let you know, hey, maybe you could have did this, or maybe this way, or I didn't like the way how you said that. What did you mean by that? Not just down you and, excuse me, put you down. So my video is on people being mean, people being rude for no reason. Like, there's absolutely no reason to be rude to anyone. That's negative energy. And negative energy, it if you're not a spiritual person, then negative energy affects what you put out in the universe. If you're negative and you're negative all the time, you're one of those people who can't help nobody, always putting somebody down, and you think that you're just speaking your mind, you're just telling it how it is, and you don't give a hoot about nobody, then you're putting out negative vibes. And then there may come a point in time in your life where you say, well, why is this happening to me? Whether it be financial, medical, or just something that affects you personally, you might holler or say, why is this happening to me? People don't believe or stop believing that what you put out is what you get back. So that's why you want to promote positivity. Positivity goes a long way. When you put it back, you get it back. And there's no reason to put out negativity. If somebody's being negative towards you, you do not have to give back their same negative energy. You could walk away. You could give them positive feedback. As hard as it is, because it's not easy. Trust me, I know. Back in my 20s and younger days, I was the pop off queen. So I understand. It took me a lot of learning. And when I joined the military, I had an instructor tell me that, you know, pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles. Was it, just because they're negative, do you have to be negative? Just because they're wrong, do you have to be wrong? And not only did he tell me that, but a lot of times I came across that in my career. And I even had my first line NCO tell me, you don't have to show the gangster to everybody. So those things are what helped me along the way, because I had people to tell me, like, hey, just because this person is being negative or mean or whatever the situation is, you don't have to be that way. And they were absolutely right, because when I started putting out positive vibes, I started getting positive back. And I've had a lot of negative in my lifetime. I've had negative in the past 3 years of my life, past 3 to 4 or 5 years of my life. I had a lot of negativity and downfalls and stumbling blocks and everything. So trust me when I say I understand, like, you could be going through something, your parents could be sick, someone could be on their dying bed, somebody could have got some bad news, maybe it's just a bad day all the way around. But I promise you, if you wake up and say you start having a bad day, find something positive or do something nice. Because sometimes when you do something nice, then it makes you feel a little bit better. It may not make up for your bad day, but it makes you feel a little bit better to at least go to bed knowing that you did something positive. And that little bit of positive you put out is going to come back to you. So where you might have had a bad day, maybe the next day you'll wake up and you'll have a 10 times better day. Now, I'm not saying it's just going to happen that fast and everything, because it don't work like that. We all know that it does not work like that. But we all know, we're all grown enough and mature enough to know that you do not have to put out negativity. Now, some people are just like that, and you just have to accept who they are. But guess what? What I found out is, if you're being positive, if you're being nice, and if you're not contributing to that negative vibe that those people are putting out, it's hard for them to be negative towards you. And I'm not trying to bring color into this, but it reminds me of those movies where they show like black people trying to fight for their civil rights, and they have to sit there and take this abuse and this name calling and stuff like that, and they just sit there and they don't say a word, or they're marching and protesting and getting blown away by water hose stuff. Y'all seen the movies, y'all know what I'm talking about. But Martin Luther King was onto something when he said he wanted a non-violent protest, because when you're being non-violent, it does put out positive vibes, and it's a lot harder for people to be negative towards you without feeling something inside. Now, some people are just naturally negative and they don't care and they get off on doing it. Those, you just have to accept it. That's the way it is. Like, we have to accept people for who they are. And it seems these days like a lot of people have no heart, no compassion, no nothing. You got people's lights getting cut off, water getting cut off, kids not being able to have shoes or clothes or food to eat. The struggle is really real. And instead of being so divided, I believe that we should come together and help each other out. You have the LGBTQ community. There's a lot of letters, y'all. But you have the community, and they're trying to gain their own little civil rights, their own identity in the world. And a lot of people don't like it. Some people are okay with it, and some people just don't care. They're like, you do what you do with it, it don't bother me. Now, I have homosexual family members, homosexual friends. I do not want to offend anybody, because I do. I have friends that are just, they're open-minded. That's what I like to call it, open-minded. Okay, so I respect that and what they decide, whatever they decide, because it's their life, and I'm going to support my friends and family and whoever, because these are really cool people. I mean, they're creative, they're funny, they have so much personality, and they're just like us. They struggle with the same things that we struggle with. So the only thing difference is their preference of who they choose to date, or how they choose to wear the clothes that they wear. Now, I'm still trying to figure out for myself, like, who said that a woman has to wear a dress? Who said that a woman has to wear makeup? Who said that a woman has to wear all this stuff to be a woman? Because I like jeans, pants, t-shirts. I like being comfortable. Now, yes, I do like to dress up and get my nails did, my hair did. I put on my makeup, throw on a wig, throw on a ponytail, whatever have you, and feel girly. Yes, that's what I call feeling girly, because that's the way I feel. I feel girly. Like, not girly as in I have breasts in, private areas, but girly as in like pretty, like girly as in like just feminine, you know? And it's hard to explain, but it's a feeling. And I don't have a name for the feeling. It just I feel good about myself. Like I feel proud. Like, that's when I wanna show, be show pretty. But if my son decided that he wanted to put on heels, a dress, or whatever, it would be tough. But at the same time, I love my son, and I want him to know that no matter what, I have his back, and I'm going to support him however he feels comfortable in his skin. Because who am I to tell him that he's not feeling what he's feeling, or he doesn't like what he likes? Now, some people start out and then they change, and you're like, well, I thought it doesn't matter. If you have love, okay, I gotta get spiritual. The Bible says, I was trying not to, but the Bible says, love thy neighbor. And I feel like we're too into other people's business. Like we're too worried about what's going on over there, what's going on over here. Like I don't want to worry about what's going on around me. I do when I'm out, worry about what's going on around me because there's a lot going on now out in the world. But I don't want to be in everybody's Kool-Aid. I have my grape, cherry, or pineapple, whatever flavor I choose for the day, and I just want to sip from that. Now, if I want to mix my flavors, then I want to mix my flavors. But if I don't, then I don't. But who's to come and say, oh, you mixed your flavors, you mixed pineapple with cherry, that just don't go? Like, who is the person to tell me what I'm drinking? Not what they drinking, but what I'm drinking is wrong. Like, I don't like that. Like, the way you raise your kids is how you raise your kids. Now, there is a fine line in a line that can be crossed when it comes to discipline and child abuse. There is a line. Um, and it doesn't have to be physical all the time. It could be verbal, it could be mental. Um, but that's a whole different thing. We're not gonna get that deep into that. But what I'm trying to get at is we all go through the same things, no matter if we're rich, poor, homeless, hard times, whatever. We're all going through the same things, and we all want the same things. We want to be happy, we want to be relaxed, we want to, you know. And yeah, some of us have worries and stress that we carry on ourselves, and that might make us come off or seem like we're mean, angry, or rude. But what happened to please, thank you, may I, excuse me? Or like nowadays, what I found is when you're polite to somebody, like if somebody hands you back your change and it's like, no, thank you, because you're returning, you're providing me a service. Thank you for coming to work today. Thank you for taking my order. Thank you for sacking my groceries. Thank you for ringing me up. Thank you for being here today. I would have to wait in a line because maybe they would have been short on cashiers. I don't know, but thank you. And it's just customer service is hard to find these days. And I watch people catch attitudes, and I just think like it breaks my heart in a way because I feel so sorry for the people who get beat up on just because you're the cashier and the price didn't ring up right, or it was in the wrong place, or something. Something happened, and now it's your fault. Like it seems like everybody is looking for somebody to blame. I don't get into politics. I don't do politics. And yes, I have served in the military. I do not vote. I if my kids or whoever else wants to vote, they can do that. But I just don't because everybody's kind of bashing each other. Like, one person might not say nothing negative about the other person. The other person was like, well, did you know? And it's like, you know what, the way I feel at the end of the day, if it's somebody's personal life or somebody, or if it's something, like, yes, people are people. They're human nature. Maybe they don't put out something that will embarrass them. because they are human. We get embarrassed. We want people to look at us and not look at us like we're monsters. And that's just human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but it's crazy to me like how mean people can be, how people can say, however, we don't care about this. So do this, do XYZ. Like, I feel like there's better ways to come to people to say things than to just be harsh. And the sad part is, I have 6 beautiful babies that I have to prepare for this world. And if this world is already showing me how cruel and mean it could be, I have to prepare my kids for this. And it's hard teaching kids you need to be nice regardless of whether what's going on, because now they're making a TikTok like, oh, when them kids at school put their hands on you, what's gonna do? True story. My daughter went to a new school. We moved. My daughter went to a new school. She came home upset, crying. She didn't want to go to the school no more. What's wrong, baby? What happened? They're putting their hands on me. They're pushing me down. The girl wants to fight me, and it's just like, why does the girl want to fight you? Like, what's going on? All right, we get down to the bottom of it, and it's silly stuff like maybe there's a crush on a little boy, and the little boy was looking at her, or some of that nature, or she had on twinkle toes and the little girl had on Reeboks. I don't know. It's little petty stuff, but the fact of the matter is still, yes, she got pushed down. She's been hit before. She got to the point of where she wrote a note, and this is a second grader writing a note. She wrote a note that said, "I hate my life." Now, as a parent, we expect to see our child's first sentences or her first note, story, whatever, with something positive like, I enjoy going to the beach with my family or something like that. Not, I hate my life. That got off with me as a parent. It broke my heart. And I know that so many parents go through it out there with the bullying or whatnot, which is why I get on my kids, because sometimes kids can get with the wrong crowd and think that bullying is the way to go because they don't want to be picked on. And I had to teach my daughter that you have to be stronger than that. You got to stand in your own. Even if you're doing the right thing and they're doing the right thing and they don't like it, and you stand in the right. And I was raised in a church. So excuse me if I'm offending anybody. I'm not trying to. I was raised in a church where they showed the Bible movies of how Jesus walked with the cross and stuff like that. So I always think, like, back in the day we used to have keychains and lanterns that said, what would Jesus do? And, I try to teach my kids, like, to do the right thing no matter what, which is why I love the nickname I gave myself, which is Integrity. I go by Integrity Trills because it's kind of like Integrity for Reals, but it's Integrity Trills. Anyways, that's a whole nother video. But I teach my kids to do what's right no matter what's going on around you. Just be right. Just, and it's hard because we're human and we're not perfect. So we do mess up. And when they mess up, I tell them, like, you could have did this better, but you're human. So I understand. I understand how you felt. My daughter was getting picked on and she took it out on the teacher. Teacher didn't really know what was going on. It was commotion. There's a lot of kids, and I understand because I have 6, and it gets chaotic. So sometimes, you're time crunched as a educator, and she just picked the person to go time out to try to get some calmness going on. And my daughter happened to be that person. But my daughter was like, I didn't do anything. They were picking on me. They were making fun of me. They were laughing at me. So I asked what she said to the teacher. And she said, the teacher told me to go to timeout, and I told her I'll go to timeout when I get ready. And I'm like, whoa. Like, my mommy radar went off. Like, quickly. And of course I want to be like, you don't do them like that. But I had to step back and think, and I'm like, I understand you were upset, but you need to apologize to your teacher and explain to her what happened and let her know that you didn't mean to come at her like that, but there were things going on. But anyways, I don't want to keep y'all too long. This is something I can go on and on about, but more of the whole video is we don't have to be rude to each other. We can put out positive energy, positive vibes, and get positivity back, because that's what I want. I want positivity. That's what I promote, positivity. I like to lift up and boost anyone who's anywhere. Whether you like me, you dislike me, I'm still gonna cheer for you, because if you do something great, yay, I'm here. I'm the supporter. I'm that person. But I don't want to down anybody. I don't want to. Now, if you do something wrong, then I might be like, yeah, that was wrong for this, that reason, or this is how I seen it. Versus, oh yeah, that was wrong. Da 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 da. It couldn't have been me, because this is that. Now, yeah, I did used to be that person, but now that I'm older and more mature, I realize there's a different way that I can handle things, and there's a different way that I could put out